Aatrox is the best healer in League of Legends. Sorry, Soraka. When the Riot Balance team add healing to every single thing they can think of in the game, Aatrox is the one who benefits. He takes some random runes, they heal him to full health. He gets one item, he's back to full health. He gets a kill, he might as well be full health. But today I found a player who hit Master without using any of the broken healing items on Aatrox, instead with a full damage, Lethality crit build that has Dustblade, Essence Reaver, Lord Dominic's Regards, even Collector included, for some stupidly high one-shot damage. Oh, and he also plays Aatrox in the jungle. This video is sponsored by Opera GX Browser, the world's first browser for gamers, meaning all the features are custom built for gaming. I've told you before about the resource limiters to reduce lag, the customization, and the Twitch and Discord integration, so I'm going to show you a couple of other great features GX has. Opera Browser has Messenger integration, meaning you can be browsing a site, maybe watching a YouTube video, and use the sidebar to open up your messages. Maybe you want to send your friend a meme on Discord or apply to an esports organization on Twitter. Maybe even DM your boy on WhatsApp. You can do it all without missing anything. Opera GX now has animated wallpapers. Looks great. There are pages and pages of these to choose from. Maybe you'd like some chill, snowy anime scene, or even your main League of Legends champion animated. If you are still struggling to swap from another browser, Opera GX now has a quick import tool, moving all of your settings from your old browser. That's history, your bookmarks, and your cookies, so sites will remember you just the same. And you don't even have to stop using your favorite Chrome extensions. Just install the Chrome Extensions add-on from the Opera add-on store, and you can now add Chrome extensions straight from there. Want to watch a video while you're working or gaming? Maybe you want to open up a combos video on YouTube and practice some of them in game. Opera has video pop-out, turning it into an adjustable frame that doesn't take up a whole screen. Download Opera GX Browser from the link below, and let me know what you think of it in the comments. Our player today is named Arsalximar. He told me that the name comes from a fantasy book he wrote in 7th grade, so now I can only assume he is some kind of unicorn. After hitting Master, Arsalximar has swapped to a more bruiser jungle playstyle, so lots of the gameplay in this video will be that. Both styles are good, but the Lethality one is much more hilarious to watch. Arsalximar is the first EU Northeast player we have made a video about, and also the first Romanian. The EU Northeast server has a very similar population to the North American server, so out of about 1.6 million players, he is top 2,000. Arsalximar started playing League in Season 3 as a bronze casual player. In Season 4 he actually started playing Aatrox already. Back then it was the old Aatrox, the one that could toggle his auto attacks to between healing and doing higher damage. He had the beautiful E ability that looked like he was sneezing, and a passive that acted like a guardian angel, similar to Anivia. By Season 6, Arsalximar had begun to spam Aatrox, using him to climb to Diamond with a 68% win rate. In Season 8, everything changed. Patch 8.13, the dreaded Aatrox rework came out. This first version of Aatrox was so awful that 3 of his abilities and his base health were immediately hotfixed to buff him. Then 6 days later he was hotfixed again to buff him even more. As is Riot tradition, the Aatrox rollercoaster continued. These hotfix buffs were too much, so he was nerfed the following patch. Nerf after nerf hit him. This season he dominated worlds, with the meta revolving around his ultimate. In the first Aatrox rework, his ult was a reworked version of his old revive passive. For 12 seconds he was given a guardian angel that also let him walk around while reviving. Yes, now you see why this champion was broken. Arsalximar of course was loving this season, playing over 1,000 games of new Aatrox, picking it up whenever it was not banned and climbing. Even though all the mains still want Riot to revert Aatrox, it's not so bad when your champion is one of the best in the game. When Riot saw this super OP champion in pro play, of course they immediately took action. Just kidding, he dominated worlds and gave us the classic IG the Shy vs G2 Aatrox moment. So of course, after this, Riot immediately fixed Aatrox. Well, no. Again, they left it another 18 weeks, all the way to Season 9, patch 9.9. This time they removed the free revive on his ultimate. He now had to get 1 kill to activate it. Maybe he would now finally be balanced. Nope, in patch 9.14 the revive was finally removed, and there went all of his popularity, dropping near pre-rework levels at some points. One good thing did come out of all of this mess. Aatrox was given some very specific jungle buffs that would eventually be relevant to our player. At this point however, he was still grinding away on the OP champion, another 1,000 games of top lane mostly. In Season 10, Arsalximar was still struggling to make it above Diamond. He had played Aatrox for 6 years now. Well, you could say he'd played Aatrox for a few years, then Aatrox 2, because these champions aren't really the same. He wanted to try something new. This started off actually being mid lane. It was very popular in pro play. Aatrox was a flex pick, so Arsalximar tried it and started having some more success. In pre-season Season 11, after failing to hit Master once again, he returned to the patch notes. Patch 9.9, a new feature. When Aatrox damages a champion or a large monster with a basic attack or ability, his passive cooldown is decreased, further decreasing if he hits it with the tip of his Q. Jungle Aatrox was born. It had a clear, it had a ton of healing for sustain, and lots of new items to try out. Testing every item he could find, he ended up settling with Dustblade as his first mythic to abuse. pros. In April 2021, this Lethality build finally brought him up to Master Tier. Let me show you how he did it. So why is he playing Aatrox Jungle? Arsalximar says that Aatrox top has lots of really bad matchups where his only option is to try and stay alive. By about level 7, Aatrox top becomes strong, which means for all that time before, he cannot affect the game at all. Jungle Aatrox can start affecting the game right away, farming in the safety of his jungle, and ganking with a player advantage. Not only is his off-meta role interesting, but his off-meta build is really the special part of this style, starting with first item Duskblade. This item seems very strange for Aatrox, but Arsalximar has invented a few strategies that make it really good. The first is the combo with his W. If you use auto attack and W on someone at the same time, they will no longer be able to escape the zone without a dash or a flash. It's a tiny CC that Duskblade gives, and it guarantees a pull. You can then chain this into a knockup with a ton of damage from your build. Duskblade is also the most important part of this build for team fighting. Just like a Duskblade Yi, your goal is to get a one-shot of any champion, become invisible, and start running around the fight out of vision, unable to be found. Second item, Essence Reaver. As soon as you get Essence Reaver, you really start to one-shot people. Especially after level 11, your ult starts giving plus 30% bonus AD, which of course is insane if you already have lots of AD in your build. He buys Lord Dominic's for armor pen, which is normally something Aatrox struggles to get. And then once you get Collector, you are sitting at 60% crit, so even auto attacks will start to do hilarious damage. Final item is Bloodthirster, so that every auto attack massively heals you, comboing with your high damage for high healing. This build means that if you ever get ahead, you can 1v9 the game with damage. So that's the build, but what about his jungle clear? How can he possibly keep up with any of the meta junglers? Well, he has invented a very specific route with perfect ability usage to clear even faster than most junglers can, and his clear is so good he does not even need to buy health potions. Like I mentioned before, if you hit one of the big jungle monsters with your Q, it decreases your passive cooldown, letting you sustain through your jungle very easily. He always aims to start with bot lane leash, so starting on red, he does the camp, hitting his Q and auto attacking. You can auto attack twice between your Q cooldown, and this is important throughout the clear. When he gets to raptors, he autos the large raptor once to get his passive healing, then uses his first Q on the raptor, auto twice, using E to reset the auto attack, Q again, auto twice, and then Q to finish off the camp. He goes to wolves, autos the big one, uses Q, auto attacks twice, use Q comboed with your E to hit all of the wolves, auto twice again as always, and then use your third Q, autoing them to death. On blue, keep doing the same thing, hit it with your Q and then 2 auto attacks. Kite it backwards to avoid some damage towards the Gromp. Reposition to the other side of the buff, and when it's at about 150 HP, use your Q to hit the Gromp, so you're doing both camps at the same time. Take another point in Q at level 3. He doesn't want to take W here as it's very hard to make useful early on, and the Q damage scales very fast when you level it up. An extra point in Q makes early game fights much easier. Kill the Gromp, move to Crab and take it. You have CC to get rid of the shield fast, and then auto attack it to death. The most important part of this clear is to always use your passive auto attack on the big minion of the camp, as it heals more if you hit enemies with a higher max HP. If you start on blue buff, the path is very similar. You do blue into Gromp into wolves, except when he gets to raptors. He's level 3, so he has an even faster clearing strategy. Auto attack the big raptor, E forwards to get an auto reset, and auto attack it again. Q through everything, reposition, hit your second Q on everything without using your E, and then use your third Q to kill the whole camp. On this side he does his red buff, then uses his E right over the Baron pit wall to get to Crab. Aatrox's goal here is to get in and out with the Crab. He has lots of burst damage to use on the Crab, and a low cooldown dash, so he can easily get back over the wall. Aatrox early game does not want to fight without his Q. The early game cooldown is very long, so if he's used it on the Crab, he runs away. If the enemy jungler has started it, then Aatrox can go for a kill, otherwise he just wants to steal away the Crab with his smite. Aatrox Jungle again doesn't sound like it has very good ganks, but luckily again Arsalximar has another strategy. Try to gank from behind enemies. Make them walk through your Qs to get out. It's very hard to chase people as Aatrox if you don't have your ultimate, so position in a way that lets you land your first Q without having to use your E. If you can do this, the gank should work. Sometimes you can't do that, so if enemies are too far away you can still make the gank work with this combo. EQ in front of the enemy. If they run forwards it will hit. If they juke backwards, that lets you close the gap and hit W. If you can land a knockup after your W hits, the enemy will always be pulled back, every single time. It may look like they're going to escape, but it is impossible. This then sets up an absolutely free third Q hit, as you know where the enemies will land. One very high level Aatrox tip is to use the Q2 sideways, as the hitbox extends at the edge. If you're playing in silver, this doesn't matter very much, because no one will be predicting your abilities. In higher ranks, enemies will start to predict your abilities. By using your Q2 sideways, you can guarantee it will hit if the enemies juke. If the enemies dodge, your Q will hit. If the enemies don't dodge, your W pullback will still hit. Just think, if I was the enemy in this position, which direction would I try to dodge? Which ability would I use? If you predict this, then Aatrox knows exactly where to throw his huge Q2 hitbox. All of your Qs can be combined with a flash in the same way that you combo it with your E. This is especially useful with flash Q3 for huge damage. Start your Q ability and then flash to move the damage. Arsalximar says that it's most important to save your E for Q3, as this is your main damage ability you need to land to get a kill. When ganking, Aatrox also has a surprising amount of walls he can dash over with his E, so he can create some very cool gank paths. It's on a low cooldown, so he aims to use it to gank more like a Kayn, dashing behind enemies, forcing them to go through him to escape. Team fighting on Lethality crit Aatrox must be played perfectly. As Aatrox, you do not want to be the one engaging 5 versus 5s, especially on the full damage build. Your goal is to make skirmishes happen by surprising enemies from bushes, going for a one-shot before they know what's happening. Ideally, you don't want to team fight ever. You want to get picks, get objectives, and end the game that way. The fastest combo, which is especially great for Lethality Aatrox, is Q into W, then QE to lock the enemy inside the W, using your third Q in an auto attack to finish off the kill. This is very hard for enemies to escape. If you do have to join a 5 versus 5, you should sit back, let your team engage, and go in once their important CC has been used. Your goal is to get a kill on anyone to activate your Duskblade. You may normally focus the carry, kill them, and heal through the rest of the fight, but Lethality Aatrox is different. A few CCs hit him and he is done, so focus on proccing this Duskblade invisibility to confuse enemies, killing anyone that you can. Use the invis to reposition and find another kill, snowballing through the fight. You do not want to ult early in any fight. Aatrox requires his ult to do more damage and heal enough to stay alive, as well as for positioning. If you use it before the fight starts, enemies will kite back and disengage until it runs out. If you save it for when the fight's still going, it's impossible for the enemies to leave. This build actually still does have lots of healing. In fact, Aatrox healing is damage based, so higher damage builds will even have more healing. It's not as important on Aatrox as your health pool is lower. The damage is what matters. Focus one enemy down, don't try and hit big AoE combos. Here are some high level Aatrox jungle tips from our player. You can solo dragon at any point in the game. Even after your first back, it's very good. Just make sure you put down a control ward. One of the specialties of this build is stealing objectives. Charge up your Q, E, and flash to hit the dragon, smiting at the same time for about 1400 damage. He thinks this is so OP he doesn't even get sweeper most of the time, preferring to always have a ward to go for steals. Mecha Aatrox is by far the best skin. It kind of has pay to win hitboxes. The hitbox is actually bigger than it looks with the skin, so even if enemies have done the correct thing and they've dodged, you can still hit them. Every game he bans the most OP meta jungler he can find. Some matchups like Lee Sin, Elise, or Kha'Zix are always good bans. If Aatrox is able to find them first and get the jump on them, then he gets the kill. If they find him first, he's dead before he can even press a button. For his build, he starts Red Smite. This is vital on Aatrox. As a squishy champion, Red Smite acts best as a mini exhaust, lowering your enemy's damage temporarily so you can beat them. You're a full damage melee squishy, and Red Smite gives you lots more 1v1 power. He doesn't buy any health potions here, as he doesn't need them for his clear. He stays full HP with Smite and his passive, preferring to save money to make his first base even better. First base he buys Serrated Dirk, so he has a lot of damage early on. First item, Duskblade. All assassins get a huge power spike whenever you get a lethality item. Berserker Greaves are recommended here to help your attack speed for combos, but it wouldn't be the worst thing if you got some resistance boots. Essence Reaver second, it's ideal for damage, works great with ability users for the Sheen proc, and Aatrox casts a lot of ability so it makes sense. Lord Doms here is good even if you're not against much armor. Collector after this into Bloodthirster final item. More recently, after he hit Master, Arsalximar has switched to a Gore Drinker Bruiser Aatrox to use the currently most OP items. So here's his current build if you want to try that as well. He starts Red Smite, getting Iron Spike Whip early. First item here will be Gore Drinker for the healing. MR Boots versus AP and CC. Armor Boots versus AD champions. Sterax second is best for the extra health you get, letting you survive bad fights and turn them around. Then you can pick between Shirelda's Grudge against armor, Death Stance against AD, or Abyssal Mask against AP. He eventually gets all of these items if the enemies have a good balanced damage team comp. This build is much more about diving and sustaining in fights. Your focus is doing lots of AoE damage to heal yourself, and CCing enemies for your teammates. For his runes, when he's going lethality full damage, he takes Dark Harvest for even more burst, with damage secondaries. For his Bruiser runes, he takes lots more healing with Conqueror Ravenous Hunter. Thanks again to Opera for sponsoring this video, please give it a try. I'm streaming Jungle Aatrox and more solo queue climbing in Diamond 1 EU West right now on my Twitch, so come watch.